he already completed the CC competent speech manual and the ACS certification. In the last year, he also played multiple roles in the club. He started from the Sergeant Army, now he's the president. And then right now, he's in his ACS Advanced, He also won an award on the area and the division contest on the 3 areas: table topic, regular speech, and evaluation. He's now pursuing the ACS, which is Advanced Communicator Silver. In this pursuit, he's on his first advanced manual title called Professional Speaker. So, and his first speech from this manual is titled Unfreeze. That's his title. The object of this speech is to give a keynote address for about 15 to 20 minutes and enlighten the audience. Neeraj is addressing the audience of the Toastmasters Spring Convention 2012 and enthusing the audience and energize them. So see if we can do that, if his speech can have this effect. Now let's welcome Neeraj, give his speech on freeze.
Just hold it. That's it.
When was the last time you froze? Well, before I get to that, I'd like to start off by welcoming all of you to the Spring Convention for Toastmasters. This is one of the biggest and the best decisions you've made, because investing time and money for your self-development is the best thing you could have ever done. So, a big kudos to all of you. And I would like to make sure we're all well informed about what we're going to do as part of the Spring Conference. You all have been handed out the agendas. The agenda is over 2 days. Please make sure you mark your calendars for the specific events that you want to attend. Getting back to unfreeze. What is the last time that you froze? Wondering what I'm trying to say? I'm not talking about the ice cream in your refrigerator. No, not that one. I'm not talking about trying to make popsicles or talking about weather. I'm talking about each one of us. You, all of us have had this situation. Can you remember when was the last time you were asked to speak and you couldn't say something? Can you remember when was the last time someone asked you to give a comment about the work that someone has done in your office? Can you remember when was the last time you were asked about your life experiences and you couldn't speak? Each one of us have gone through the freezing process. In this freezing process, what happens is we end up with a mind that's completely blanked out. Being blanked out in some cases is good. If your wife is asking you to buy her some jewelry, being blanked out, awesome, very good, nothing to lose, right? You save your money. Being blanked out when your spouse is telling you that he can't take you on a vacation, that can be a bad thing. You got multiple situations where you're blanked out, but the key thing for you today is not being blanked out. And the first decision and the first step that you've taken to come to the Spring Convention of Toastmasters is a big step. Let's talk a little more about the unfreeze process. The reason I call it as the process is because nothing happens at the turn off a button. This is not your iPad that you can press a button and turn it on. This is not your mixer grinder that you can turn on and expect it to work. There is a process. Toastmasters is the place that helps you do that. There are two things that Toastmasters can help you with. One is leadership, the other is communication skill. Why are these two things important? Very simple. Put yourself in a position where you're the manager of a company, you've been asked to deliver some bad news. It's not pleasant. How do you deliver bad news? And if you are given the onus, many times you feel very uncomfortable, right? As part of your Toastmaster communication skill development, what you're given is the right tools and the methods to do that. And that's exactly what we want to do, right? When it's fun and gory, fun and happy, nothing to worry. When it's bloody and gory, you got problems. And that's exactly what we want to face. So giving bad news takes a lot of tact and communication skills. And that's what you're going to achieve by doing the different types of speeches that are there in your Competent Communicator Manual. Toastmasters has a Competent Communicator Manual and a Competent Leader Manual. We'll get to the Competent Leader Manual later. But the Competent Communicator Manual has 10 speeches that are mind-blowing. Each and every speech that you give converts you into a new person. Why does it do that? Because there is a method to the madness. It's always that, right? If you don't have a method to the madness, you can't do much. And the Competent Communicator Manual comes with that exact method. And the way it works is you have a speech with an objective, be it an icebreaker speech, as the name suggests, trying to kill your fear. That is the first thing that you have to do. So killing your fear is the first step. So you have an icebreaker speech. The icebreaker speech is aimed at trying to give you an ability to express yourself. And the focus of that particular speech is to ensure that you can talk about yourself. Can you tell me who in the world can speak better about you other than you?
I cannot think of.
Nobody. Nobody in this world can speak about you better than you. So what else? Go on, open up and speak up. Before you do that, take a look at the manual instructions. It tells you that any speech, any form of conversation has to have an objective or a starting. It has to have a body which conveys the key content, and then it has to have an ending, a summarization. This is exactly what we have taught even in school, right? But we never are taught how to speak in public, which is where the problem is. So start off with your Competent Communicator Manuals. Look at the different types of speeches that you can do. Each one of them is a gem. Some of them will help you understand and organize your speech, because at the end of the day, articulation is key. If you cannot articulate your thoughts, you cannot convey the message. That's the bottom line. That said, articulating and arranging the content in your speech is also followed by another vital ingredient, which is called content. All of us know today that content development is a complete different field of business. There are companies that focus on developing content. Why is it so important? If you have to convey a message, the message needs to have the right audience in mind. I'll give you a simple example. A joke is said like this. A blonde lady goes to a gas station and she fills gas completely into the tank and gets out on the road. 8 hours down the road, she figures she's out of gas. So she calls for AAA, comes back to the same gas station, and she says, "Your gas is not working," to the gas station attendant. The gas station attendant doesn't get it. He says, "Okay, what did you do?" She tells him, "I filled up the gas tank, and when I was driving, after 8 hours, the gas tank was empty, and the car stopped." This guy says, if you have a full tank, you'll run long. If you don't have a full tank, your car will stop. Then she points at a sign in the gas station and says, "Your sign says 24-hour gas." Right? This is a joke that can work. But if you look at the audience, I saw only 2 ladies here and 4 men, so I chose a blonde girl. If it was more women, I could have converted this into a dumb guy. Right? That is the art of conversation and the art of speaking. This is what you learn when you do your speeches. Let's change gears now and take a look at another aspect of speaking, which is called fear. All of us have gone through this. Each one of us who has ever stood in front of an audience, be it in our school when we were in kindergarten, or be it in college when we were facing our teachers. We all have had this fear. And the fear is, what would I say wrong? Well, the answer to that question, my friends, is you can never go wrong, because you are speaking. That is the first best thing you're doing, better than probably a larger audience there, because they are not standing in your place. The next thing that you're doing different is at least trying to express yourself. That is the key ingredient of success. Being able to express yourself well, and not have the fear. So we talked about content, we talked about organization, we talked about being able to kill your fear. These are the key things that make up a competent speaker. And that's what your competent communicator manual does. Many of us have work presentations that we need to do. There is a speech that talks about usage of visual aids, which means you use a presentation or a chartboard and make your point understood. There is a speech for persuasive speaking. So I was talking to our friends here about persuasive speaking. There are many situations that we are faced with where we are supposed to either motivate a person, enthuse a person, or get him to do something that we want, right? It could start from your kid all the way to your boss. Every single person has something that they can give you. At the same time, you can give them too. This whole gamut of activities depends on your ability to provide them with your perspective, at the same time giving them the understanding that there is something in it for them. That is persuasive speaking. Similarly, visual aids are another important tool today. All of us know that there is a need for this. Social networking has changed our world. All of us agree, correct? Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, right? There are so many sites that today help us communicate with people. But there is a negative side to these. The negative part is that they have stopped people from meeting each other, right? So we enjoy the conversation we have with someone, half the globe away, but we don't go and speak to our neighbors anymore because we chat with them. We are even to a state where we speak to our internal family members on Facebook chat. And I've done that too. I'm culprit. But the communication that you have to do has to be interpersonal. And one of my key messages that I gave for folks that I met from the education industry was that they need to ensure that kids coming out of college today have to have their ability to speak in good shape. I'll give you a simple example of teenagers today. Most of them use the word like there is no tomorrow. Like is the most abused word in the teenager speech today. If they speak to you for 10 minutes, you can count at least 20, 30 likes. Like is used as an intermediary stop between their actual sentence, but that's the time they're using to speak or think what they're going to say next. This is another epidemic that we are seeing. So my strong urge to the educational research industry was that they should start having clubs within their, Toastmaster clubs within their schools. That would be something that would be great and groundbreaking. Let's now switch to leadership. Why is leadership important? We are always told that leaders are made, managers are people who grow from the ranks, right? That's what we've been told. But actually, my thought is different. Leaders are not made. You have to coach leaders. That is what happens. And coaching leaders is what Toastmasters is able to achieve through the Competent Leadership Manual. The Competent Leadership Manual helps you identify opportunities within your own club and look at how you can contribute in that. For example, you could be a Toastmaster. A Toastmaster's job is vital for a meeting. As all of us know, a meeting organizer has a lot of responsibilities. He needs to ensure that there is an objective set for the meeting, which is what we call as agenda. And within the agenda, you have different participants. These participants have to know their role, have to perform their role in complete unison with what is the objective of the meeting. So that is something that a Toastmaster does. How do you apply this to real life? Let's say you're a stay-at-home mom, right? If you're a stay-at-home mom, what you can do is use the agenda to organize the activities in your day. Make sure you're able to work with your husband, son, daughter, whatever you have, and ensure that they have a clarity on what they will do during the day. A person who is working in the office, you can set up a meeting and ensure you set the objectives to the meeting. I have seen enough meetings in my life, and I can tell you one thing. Most of the meetings start off by deciding when the next meeting is, not by deciding what the objective of this meeting is. A quick tip I can share with all of you is that whenever I set up a meeting, there has to be an agenda. There is no way I'm going to conduct a meeting without an agenda in it. I also go to the level of detail as to specifying how many minutes we're going to talk about each topic. And in some critical meetings, at the end of the meeting agenda, I also mention takeaways from the meeting, decisions that have to be made. These are things that you can do. And how do you do that? How do you develop these skills? By being a Toastmaster at the Toastmasters Club. We all know that if we are managers or if we have people working for us, we have to give them feedback, right? Either we do it once a year or we do it 2 times a year. Evaluating a person is another key skill you learn at Toastmasters. You evaluate the person for the speech, the content, the organization, and the research that has gone in. That's what you do. But then you're still doing the process of evaluation. This will also help you communicate better when you are supposed to evaluate somebody. And you also get a better handle at evaluating others. That is the big benefit you have. During the course of being a Toastmaster, you also get opportunities to conduct contests, as the theme of the day as well. Contests are a way for us to grade people, right? And it helps people to work harder, do more, and they're not meant to dissuade anybody or show someone down. Contests are a way to create more competition, help growing the club. So that's why we have club contests, then we have area contests, division contests, and each one of these stages is a level of achievement for an individual as well as the club he is affiliated to. So running a contest of that nature also needs a lot of experience, and you'll gain a lot of experience from that. So in the Toastmasters community, there are many people who can mentor you, help you grow, and develop yourself into a well-rounded individual. Having leadership skill on one hand, having communication skills on the other hand, put them together, you have the whole enchilada. And the best part about Toastmasters that you probably want to take away from the convention today, and you'll see that when you start interacting with many people in the convention, and either people who are old Toastmasters or new Toastmasters can share with you that Toastmasters is a very open environment and the place where you can develop yourself at your own pace. Nobody's going to set your pace. Nobody's going to tell you, hey, you got to do one speech every week. No, that's not going to happen. You're expected to choose your pace, but then remember, you came to Toastmasters with an objective. Always remember that objective and tell yourself that if I don't do it today, I am delaying my success for a later day. So with that, I would like to say, enjoy yourself in the convention here. I'm available for discussions if at all you have any questions or clarifications, and we wish you all a happy convention. Thank you.